What's up, everyone? Just want to tell you a gang stalking story. So let's chill out and sit down for a minute. So when I was leaving Australia, I buried my phone across the road from the Southern Cross University. Sorry, the sun's getting in my eyes there. And what was funny about this was that this proved my gang stalking, because when I got to Uruguay from Australia, it took them 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I think it was, about 2 weeks, to get my location and start harassing me again once I was in Uruguay, you see. And the first 2 weeks I was here, those planes did not go over the house I was living in. Nobody looked at me weird on the street. I mean, ground troop level gang stalking, what we call ground troop level, or police-based private eyes and, humans, not interdimensional entity stuff so much. Although all gang stalking is spiritual, and it's coming through all those police, all of them, they're all low vibration, they're all susceptible, and they are all having these reptilians and so forth come through them. And what I want to say is that this proved to me, that I'm gang stalked, because it took them 2 weeks to, find my phone, which I hid under the ground across the road from the university at Kirra Beach, Australia, Gold Coast, and I just simply put it in a garden. I can't even remember if I put it in a plastic bag, but I made sure to leave plane mode off, so full reception was on the phone, and I charged it fully up, so it would have lasted a week under the ground there. And for a week, they would have been wondering, why is his cell phone signal coming from, Gold Coast, Kirra Beach, where I put my phone under some apartment in the garden, while my computer was showing that I was already in Uruguay. And so for that first 2 weeks I was here in Uruguay, there was no planes, there was no, stalking on the street that I noticed people or anything. And so I thought this was funny, and this proved to me that I'm gang stalked, because it showed me that they were indeed after my cell phone, that the signal was being traced and monitored. And so for 2 weeks, and I remember the first week or first couple of days in Uruguay, it was so peaceful for me that I didn't even use my computer. And I love being on the computer, on the internet, but I was at such peace not being gang stalked now. Suddenly, because I hid my phone, and I knew I've got at least a week or two or a month off. And I was in such peace, and I really noticed it. And then, I started being on my laptop more and more. The third week of being here in Uruguay came, and suddenly, row, I got all the planes, the little light planes. And probably a lot of people going past the house, but I was always within the confines of the house. Doing up the garden, so I was not often outside the house to see, but the planes gave it away, and when I did go out of the house, there was no one, looking at me weirdly. I still remember 2 months in, so when they started to gang stalk me here again, I was at the beach one time, and there was just some guy sitting, eavesdropping, you could really tell that he was just full on eavesdropping me, and it seemed like it was an agent, like a private eye, or someone that was there to spy on me. Sorry guys, this sun is annoying me. I should have sat somewhere else. But yeah, you see what I'm saying though, because they were clearly after the signal of my cell phone, and I had buried that, and then I noticed that they were gang stalking me for sure, because there was a 2 week gap. And I knew that the cell phone, battery wouldn't last longer than a week. Maybe it lasted 8 days, I don't know. But it wasn't going to last like super long. So basically in the end, it was a very good correlation for me to know that they're gang stalking me. And I don't know, you can do tests like this. Why don't you guys do tests like this? If you think you're being gang stalked, you should do a test, something like this, like bury your phone in some place and then go to somewhere else. See if there's peace and quiet from the choppers, from the planes, from, the drive-bys, whatever. And then you'll know, if you're wondering, are you gang stalked? Then do a test like this. Most likely they're going to be after your cell phone because it's all about position, so that they can, know where you are. Now, this also happens frequency-based. Now, remember how I said, as in they can locate you via your frequency interdimensionally more? And this is like, the reptilians and so forth will come at you. Sun's annoying me. So this is the second part I'm now talking about. I just wanted to tell you guys like a bit of an example, what happened to me, very, very physical, But then there is this frequency stalking, and that's what all gang stalking is, it's frequency stalking. And if you show up somewhere with a different higher frequency, it's like they can't see you. It's like you have to be below a certain threshold for them to be able to see you. So if you're in any kind of anxiety, I think that's even enough to put you down under this threshold of like frequency of some sort of threshold. I don't know where, how many hertz, what C4 note of the heart, I don't know. I'm not sure. I have to think about this. What might be the frequency threshold? But it seems like that, like something like this, that you go below a certain threshold and then suddenly the fourth dimensional entities can like feel you and see you and hone in on you. And I think it's more like that they can feel you because you charge up your pain body. And I did make a video, Organic Portals and Pain Body. I didn't really explain this, but this is what I think. That, once your pain body swells up enough or becomes visible enough, they can see you, and then they come in and they suck your glowing coat of awareness off. The whole idea about the flyers, and they come in and basically suck off your glowing coat of awareness, and you feel all drained again. And then there's loosh energy, which I think may well be positive charge, because that makes sense. That's what heightened hormonal content creates, you see. It creates pain and positive charge. It's not that they're after your heightened hormonal content, it's that heightened hormonal content associated with loosh then creates like loose energy. It's like, this is how I imagine heightened hormonal content. And then like you can see that there's a fuzzing of energy off, and that's the pain body and positive charge or positrons. Okay. So yeah, there's frequency based. And well, really, it's all frequency based. But I was giving you like a technological example that you guys can try for yourself to see if you're, very, very physically chased, and has your gang stalking gotten to the extremes that my gang stalking has gotten to, where it's all out war every day. It's every normal person against you. Almost everybody is my enemy in the end. It's very interesting. Now, you could easily say I've gone off the deep end and so on and so forth, but after 10 years, it's just that after 10 years, I feel I'm not making a priori conclusion here and there, and I think very, very hard about what I'm saying and putting out there. For instance, I don't even think that reptilians are physical things. You've got some people out there saying reptilians are not fourth dimensional entity disincarnates. They think they're incarnated physical beings. That's just not true. And you're stuffing up your own movement by saying that. So what I want to say is, in the same way, to not stuff up the gang stalking movement, it is not just physical, it is definitely spiritually based. However, once you're a super duper threat to the system, it appears they very physically hone in on you as well, because it's like they need you, under confinement, solitary, proper confinement, and they want to know exactly where you are all the time so that you don't get the slip on them in any way, shape or form. They already realize that you're a complexity knot, you're ahead of them in thought generally, so they have to try and hold you back and hold you down and confine you. And so you'll get the really hardcore gang stalking like me, where it's not just astral entities, it's also the ground troops. And then if you're, a super duper threat, they will just hammer you with the astral entities as soon as you outdo any of the ground troops, like any of the, the police or private eyes or anything. As soon as you outdo any of them, they'll just come at night with, a fourth dimensional entity to affect your emotional astral body. And then that might cause, see, these effects are so many. It's like, I don't see how anyone, like most people are not going to get through this, escape it, or conquer it, because the effects are just so many. Like if a reptilian, fourth dimensional, disincarnate entity from the fourth dimensional attacks you at night, it attacks your emotional state, or the emotional state of your friend, so that the next morning your friend isn't your friend anymore. This happens to me over and over and over again. It's like they might make you look down at you, they might make your friend look down at you, and so your relationship begins to deteriorate the next morning, straight after the reptilian has visited them. And now they can do this to you too. They'll make you think weird thoughts about people, or just negative, and ruin communications, and then the relationships can't evolve. So you might be in a soul contract with another person to bring about some sort of change, and the reptilians and so on, the bad guys, the archons, so on, they know about this, they send in the reptilians, and then it ruins your relationship. And then, it's like they've curbed evolution, because you and that person were meant to do some big change. They've stuffed up your relationship, so you're not going to do the big change anymore. So the consequences, they're just so far-reaching. It's amazing, I just really wanted to get that across to everyone, because I think a lot of people are out there doing like the simple path, concluding too quick, not thinking like deep enough into it. I mean, there are so many late nights I've spent thinking about all this stuff. I don't take it lightly, and I think a lot of people are taking it too lightly. The gang stalking, and I think it's like Minority Report style. It's next. It's part of thought policing. It's here, guys. We are in Orwellian state. Thought policing is here, and this is how they do it. I'm an alternative media face, so to speak. consciousazine is an alternative media. They've attacked us over the last 5 years like crazy. Go read, I think it's globalfreedommovement.com. I think that was the article. I've referred to it before, but they had a really good article, and it just shows how all the alternative media type, enlightenment type pages on Facebook were being taken out. And you might think, oh, that's just Facebook. Yeah, but Facebook is a media itself. And it kind of was alternative, but now it's definitely turned mainstream. It stinks of mainstream now. And I'm probably not going to go back on Facebook. If I do, it will be different to how I first ever did it. And I think they've still got my IP blocked, But if I ever go back on there, I'll be way more detached. I won't be, it won't be a place where you can chat to me. That's over. There'll be no information I'll be giving to Facebook. I mean, I shouldn't even be showing my face on YouTube anymore. But I'm past that, you know what I mean? I'm not going to delete all my videos with my face. So anyway, I just wanted to say, I think a lot of people are taking the gang stalking too lightly, and that it should be taken with much more heed. It should be more heeded, and you should be more in caution surrounding it, because I think it's the future. They're rearing it up. It's not getting less and less. They're only adding more and more people to the programs, I'm sure. And I think it's the future of how society is going to be structured, of how they want it. You know, New World Order, or NIEO, not actual New World Order for the people, by the people, but NIEO, New International Economic Order, is, you know, by the elites for the people. But that's not what we actually want, and it's not what will eventually win out, because the people have the power, so eventually we should win out. But because there's so many organic portal NPCs in control positions, middle management positions, that outcome will be a long, long way away, and we're definitely going into a dark tunnel before the light at the end of the tunnel. And you know that little intro I put on all of my videos of the little circle and you see the light? That's like, it's not the Eye of Horus to me or anything, that's not what it is. It's a little thing showing you, you know, we're in the apocalyptic dark tunnel surrounded by the darkness. Keep focusing. You know, focus on the light at the end of the tunnel there. We will make it out of the birth canal into space. Because humans are now like a baby within the womb of the atmosphere of the earth. And we're in the birth canal. That's why, you know, this is what happens when a culture goes to the stars, said Terence McKenna. All this cultural fury, all this craziness. This is what happens when a culture or a species is going to the stars. You know, it's like this. And that little thing at my intro there at all the start of the videos, that's like showing you, you know, that eerie music, that ominous sound, the ding, ding. It's all meant to be like the ominous feeling of where we are in the, like the dark hallway at the end of history, in the judgment hallway of the apocalypse. That's where we are. So anyway, it wasn't like some person recently commented, why do you put the Eye of Horus at the start of all your videos? Anyway, so yeah, I just wanted to say how I know I'm gang stalked, and how you can do a little trap with your phone, an old phone that you no longer want would be perfect, or you can just wait for it to shut off and go collect it after the signal shuts off. And actually, I just thought of a really good idea. I'm going to do this myself, and we're going to make a video out of it. I'm going to prove to you that I'm gang stalked by putting my phone somewhere, and then we're going to like record them like going for my phone or surrounding my phone like flies to the light, you know. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to prove it. We're going to prove this 100 times over that I'm gang stalked and that gang stalking is real. I don't know how the hell we're going to prove that it's interdimensional entities. That part we can't, because it's so non-physical, but we can definitely prove, you know, the lower part of gang stalking with the physical people, you know. Yeah, so that's what this video was about, and so you have a technique now to trap your gang stalkers and trap them, and get some really good footage, and I'm definitely going to shoot a video like that myself soon. So that was my little story of how I know I'm gang stalked. One reason, apart from all the other things I've seen, like they've put computer code. Remember, I just studied computer programming at university, so I know when someone else puts a little console screen on my computer just up here, suddenly codes running, and it's 2 a.m. and I'm across the road from the Australian Federal Police in my Gold Coast University campus of Southern Cross University, exactly across the road, by the way. And, you know, I have them patrolling me every day, searching for me when I went surfing, following my phone signal, which I proved on the way to Uruguay, which I've just made this whole video about. So, I mean, it's real. And you're going to get many more good videos on this YouTube channel showing you gang stalking is real. And I'm going to discuss it till I die, probably. So subscribe. because there's going to be thousands of organic portal gang stalking matrix style videos on this channel.